Hey there, this is our fourth video in Elastic Basics Training. In this video we'll be talking about nested documents. So nested documents are sort of sub-documents within the documents you're pushing into Elastic. Highly likely if you're using Elasticsearch as a document repository you'll have nested documents, and yeah, it's good to understand how the default behavior works and how you can change that so that they are nested together. So let's jump right in. I think it'll be pretty self-explanatory. So let's go create an index. We'll continue with the country index. Just give a really simple configuration. So hit submit or execute. So that index has been created. Happy days. Now we're going to go put a document into that particular index. So try it out. So country, and it's the fourth document here. It's the Bermudas document again, and you'll see that there is a list of dictionaries within this GDP element, so with year and amount. So let's post that in to Elasticsearch, and it'll say, yep, created that document, which is great. So now we've got an index and we've got one document in it, and now let's go and search that index, and we'll use the index name and the search endpoint. So again, country, and we'll say subdocument querying without nested index or index nesting. So we say year, so GDP year less than 2015, but greater than 70 million. So run that, and my expectation would be that we don't have any documents returned, because we only got one document in the index, and in 2010 the figure was 60 million. However, we've asked for something greater than 70 million. So why is this being returned? This is not right. There's a problem. Raise a bug. So the way it works is that by default, the way Elasticsearch indexes those nested documents is basically gdp.year and creates a list, and then stores all those in a list, and then has gdp.amount, and then has all those stored in a list. There's no correlation between the subdocuments. That's the default out-of-the-box behavior, which is probably not what you want. So let's go through and work out how to change that. So we'll just go and delete our index. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create our index, but we need to use a nested configuration. And basically a nested configuration just involves saying, so within the mapping settings of the index configuration, we say GDP, which is our field, and rather than having a type text or whatever it may be, or nothing, we say type nested. And so that's going to force Elasticsearch to create nested subdocuments for each one of those dictionaries below the GDP field. So we'll go and create that index configuration for the country field. So that's now been created. We'll go and add a document into that index again. So this document with the nested fields. So we'll hit execute. So that should now have been created. So now we've got one document in our index, and that document has been configured to have nested documents for that GDP field. So you obviously have to set it up for all the fields that are nested. Now, so if we go and retrieve a document, and we use this query, so in the query we say nested, so basically we're specifying the depth, like the level of nesting, so we give that path, which is GDP, and then we just use the same query below that, where we say boolean must, year less than 2015, but amount greater than 70 million, and if we hit go, nothing is returned, and the reason being is that, so if you change this greater than, the document that is in the index has 6 as the 2010 year. So the filter or the search criteria has been applied to that sub-document, exactly what we wanted. So yeah, it's really important to understand the default behavior there, which is basically to treat all those sub fields in those sub documents as a list of values without a correlation. If you want to correlate them, then you need to configure the index to be nested. that's all for this particular video.